everybody. Welcome.
Hey,
It's Don't Worry Wednesday.
that's right.
You made it. We made it. For
Yeah,
heaven's
we made
sakes.
it. That's even more of a miracle.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, it's great to see all you guys. This is a show about you guys. You guys and your topics and your stuff going on. We all love you and we hope your lives are wonderful, but we also know that sometimes we get hit with some challenges. We get hit with some hard spots. Uh-oh.
Sorry,
It's funny.
my brain
What
went
I'm
and
saying
finished
is
your
funny.
sentence for you.
Oh, good.
And yeah,
Thank
you
you.
said, "We hope your lives are wonderful, but we know they're not." And I was like, Ryan, don't finish a sentence like
Don't
that.
finish
That's
my
so mean.
sentence. Don't do that.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't. All right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
That's all. But yeah, so in this show, what we want to do is we want to talk about that stuff. The stuff that might be a little bit difficult, the stuff that you might be running into, and because sometimes we all just need a friend. And you have found some of the greatest group of friends here in the chat. I am constantly amazed by you guys in there, helping each other out, being encouraging, being awesome, cracking jokes once in a while, making Ryan laugh while I'm in the middle of talking, saying some kind of serious point. It's
Yeah, yeah, that actually
great.
does happen both ways.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sorry, Joe.
You're fine. But anyway, no, we are not professional therapists, counselors, policemen, lawyers, or anything like that. We just want to help in any way we possibly can. We're not a substitute for professional counseling at all either. And sometimes that is worth seeking out. I've been there myself. But really, what makes a true difference sometimes is while you're going through that, to have some people encouraging you. And that's the number one thing we want to do here with you guys tonight. So, yeah, you guys are amazing. How are you guys doing? Ryan, how are you doing?
Amazing.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot
Yeah,
intros. Our chat room hostess is Princess,
that's right.
and she's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Applesauce for Princess.
A round,
Yes.
a round of applesauce.
Yes. And above
Oh
me
wow.
is the P of
I am
static.
the P. That's right.
Mm-hmm. The P of
Yep.
staticness. And yeah, if you have any questions or anything that's on your mind, feel free to throw it down there in the chat. You can send us an email, dww@bss.studio. That's where I would send it if you want to remain anonymous, either there or you can DM myself, Ryan, or Static, or Princess on Discord. And that's a good way to keep it anonymous too. Just if you wouldn't mind, let us know that you want to be anonymous. Otherwise, we'll ask you.
That's true. That's true. Yeah,
um,
because otherwise we get the email and we're on stream and we're doing it live and we're like, hey, person who emailed us, did you want to be anonymous? If you did, don't reply
yes,
in the
don't
chat.
reply in the
Because
chat.
if you do, then
Send
you've
another
just
email.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess if you don't clarify that you don't mind being known, we assume you anonymous because
Right.
otherwise there's, yeah, what are we gonna do? Call you out in chat? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Are you here? Hey, this is a great topic.
Yeah.
Anyway, or you can set it right there on our website. The link's there in the chat at bss.studio, in the forums, in the Don't Worry Wednesday topics from the live stream section. And yeah, I think that's all the ways. So, Princess, how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. How about you, Ryan?
I'm doing great. How about you, Princess?
I'm doing great. How about you, Joe?
Joe doesn't get a
Man,
turn.
I
Come
don't.
on.
Yeah, that's right. No
How are
turns
you,
for
chat?
Joe.
Yeah, chat. Okay, anyways, Joe, how are you doing?
I'm fabulous, thank you.
Awesome.
So yeah, well, why don't we jump right in? What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read down the list of past topics that we have. If you hear your name, feel free to let us know in the chat. Some of you that have topics on this list, I've seen you in the chat. I see you. Yep. So I'll go down the list and just let us know if you're here. We have Ian Lam, Ezekiel Games, Drakon, Lord Francium, LG, Toast, Ash, Immature Success, Joe B, Anonymous, another Ash, hey Ash, Baka and Meow. And if you guys are here, let us know. Some of you guys, I know you're here already.
Yeah.
Baka, you just said hi to Raka. Baka said hi to Raka, which rhymes,
Yeah.
and it's fun.
Oh, I see. I wasn't following. I was like, yeah, he did.
Come on, you're
Got
a
it.
lyricist, man.
I know, man, but I'm apparently a pretty terrible one. So
Whatever. Don't even start.
I can't even figure out that Raka and Baka rhyme. So that's how bad I
Yes.
am.
So, and Anonymous, you do not have to let us know if you're in the chat. You can let us know on Discord or send a quick email
Yeah,
or something.
we know if you're here or not. Actually,
Maybe.
maybe.
'Cause I'm mystical and magical.
The mystical,
That's
magical
right.
princess.
Princess is
Yes.
actually usually the one that lets us know whether anonymous persons are here or not. So we owe her that.
Yes. So, all right. Well, all right. So, Ash, you're here. It looks like you are probably the earliest one on the list here. So I will ask you, of the two, we have one called Looks and Fables, and we have one called Getting My Hopes Up. So I'm curious, would you have a preference for which one?
Yeah, is either of these more urgent?
Yeah, one's from back in July. One's from almost a month ago. Oh, absolutely, we can do yours later. Huh, no problem.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yes. So then the next on the list will then be the anonymous one, I believe.
That's right.
Getting My Hopes Up is more urgent. All right. Well, when you get back, let us know you're back, and we will stop everything we're doing and move right into your topic.
Well, that's not true, because we're going to finish up the anonymous topic before we... Yeah, yes, we wouldn't do that.
So, all right. Well, yeah, let's do this anonymous one. What do you say?
That sounds like a good plan.
Sounds like a good plan to me.
I think. A good plan.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just sounds like a plan. Like, wow, that sounds like a plan. You know. Sometimes it sounds like a good plan. You know.
Yes. Oh, and there's the link. Look at that.
By the way, Swilk, nice to see you. It's been a while. I hope you're doing awesome.
Yeah. It is nice to see you. All right. So you can click the link. It's legit. I just clicked it. So you're good.
It works.
Yep, it works. So if you want to click the link and read along, Princess will read it for us. Princess, at your leisure.
Why, thank you. So this is Family Troubles by Anonymous. Transphobic mother, family that's pretty unaccepting to my depression and pasta. I swear, some people are like, stop making fun of Black people, and will instantly go back to making fun of Italians with their completely incorrect accents and their spaghetti. Italians in the chat, why are we the laughingstock? Those people don't even understand that pasta is a side dish / first course in Italy. Make fun of one, and you make fun of everyone else. Basic rule of fighting for equality. If you degrade everyone, everyone's equal. I'm calm. I'm calm now. I could say more, but I'm calm now. Anyway, no, Mom, you can't have full custody of me after supporting a hate crime. Get out of my sight, you crazy witch. She'd probably hate me too, because I'm non-binary. So yes, get out of my sight. From Anonymous.
Wow. Well, Anonymous, you've certainly let us know how you feel, and I appreciate
That's right.
I appreciate that a lot because, yeah, sometimes these things can be quite infuriating. They can be, quite emotion grabbing, and they can rile us up and stuff. And so thank you for being so transparent with your feelings on that. So anyway, I definitely can understand what it feels like to be unaccepted by family members. I can relate to that a lot. I can relate to depression and, just the whole being unaccepting of people and how that's just wrong. I can tell you one of the things that boils my blood more than anything is racism. Any kind of racism, because people are born the way they're born, and to have some kind of discrimination against somebody because of how much melanin they have in their skin, or because they're from a certain place or whatever, to me, it's just ridiculous, right? So judging other people isn't something we should be doing anyway. And especially to judge somebody based on something they have no control over whatsoever. That just really irks me. It's one of those pet peeves of mine. That and silverware drawers that aren't organized. That's a pet peeve of mine as well.
Is it now? That's fair.
But anyway, so I can definitely relate to you, Anonymous, and I hope we can have some stuff here that'll help you out. And I'm gonna quickly turn it over to Ryan because I know he's got some great stuff to say about this.
I hope so. I'm gonna open my mouth and see what comes out.
I'm gonna see what comes out. It's gonna be great, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what comes out when I open my mouth. Huh, weird. Air
and
stuff.
water vapor.
And water.
And
Yeah, water
saliva
vapor.
vapor.
It's my
Water
favorite.
droplets.
Yes.
If I scream loud enough, it's water droplets.
But at least it's not COVID.
Jeez. That's right, not anymore. Anyways, yeah, this is I totally understand being relatively furious when people are, I guess, just non-accepting of others in general. Usually when I go through a lot of times I'm not on the receiving end of that sort of bigotry or I guess racism or prejudice. What's the prejudice? Prejudicism?
Prejudiceness.
Prejudiceness? That I don't know. What's the X form of prejudice? I don't know.
When you have prejudice.
Yeah, the receiving end of prejudice. Wow. I'm sorry, guys. Anyways, yeah, I'm not usually on the receiving end, but I've defended it many times. I see it a lot, and I'm always on the part where it's just like, hey, I like to stand up for those people. And so what I'd like to suggest is you can take this anger and do something good with it. Because you see, it's not likely that you're going to be able to change your mother's mind about this kind of thing. Maybe get out of my sight isn't completely the right response. I understand the feeling. And to be honest, there are many times where we just have to love someone from a distance, where we just have to go, yeah, I'm just not going to be a part of your life anymore because it's toxic for me. Right. And we don't necessarily have to say that to their face, but we kind of back off with our relationship so as not to hurt ourselves, but also not to allow them to worsen, right? Because one of the things is if we allow someone to be wrong, like in this way, if we allow someone to be mean, to bully people, especially if we allow those people to bully us, right? If we just allow that, we're actually forming a habit in them to continue to do it, right? If we don't stop them, if we don't stand up for ourselves, right, what we're doing is, if we just kind of lay down for them to treat us that way, we're instilling in them a habit of continuing to do that. At this point in your life, or rather at this point in your mother's life, it's not likely that you're going to change her views. The only thing you can do is try to set an example. And honestly, I have both sides of my family. My grandparents were to some degree racist against Blacks, right? And not heavily, but mildly, right? And one side of my family, their daughter got married to a Black person. And through that, their racism was completely cleared up because that Black person was an excellent example of what it means to be human, but of a really upright, great, good standing individual. Fantastic guy. I've gotten the chance to speak with him twice, and which isn't much, but both times he's just a joy to be around, right? He's just fantastic. And so that example completely cleared all of their racism. They aren't racist towards any group anymore because of that one experience, right? But the problem is when a lot of times when your family, that's the hardest time to try to change someone's mind about something.
Mm-hmm.
It just is. There's this weird sort of unfortunate disrespect in the family units, especially nowadays, where we, no matter how hard we try, we can't expect to change the way they think, which is odd, but it's just very normal. I mean, you look at, Jesus, for example, right? Anonymous, I know who you are. I know that, you know who Jesus is, at the least, right? And it's written even in those times, right? It was not his family, but it's the people he lived with. It's the people in his area, the people in his hometown, right? When he tried to open their hearts, when he tried to change the way they were acting or thinking, when he even just tried to simply teach them anything, they wanted to throw him off a cliff. That was their response. They're like, "You're crazy. Go ahead and die." Like, that's their response. They're like, "We know who you are. You aren't a stranger to us. And so you're not going to change our minds." And for some reason, that's how people are. I say all of this. Why? Not so that you can go, okay, so it's a lost cause. I say this, Anonymous, because all of this can be a really great lesson to you and your own pride, right? Because all of us struggle to some degree with pride, right? But you can take this and learn through this experience to that one day you're going to be this person. I promise. Because we've all been it. One day you're going to be in this position where you're the bigot and someone's trying to change your mind about something. And you have to learn to just set aside that feeling of like self-respect in a way, because it could be wrong. Sometimes we have to just go, hey, could I be wrong on this? And look at it, right? And look at it sincerely. And in fact, many times we have to do that. I've learned a lot from Joe by doing that, you know, and I'm sure Joe has learned a lot from me doing that. And he's been a great example of that in my life, you know. So, you know, it's really a blessing to be able to recognize that, hey, we can all be rather hard of heart at times.
Right, so I've been a good example of being hard of heart and prideful.
No, the other way around, for sure. Don't you even. Joe has such a soft heart. It's like a marshmallow, but squishier and tastier. Anyways,
but best when it's burnt to a crisp.
That's right. Nice and crispy on the outside and then super soft and creamy on the inside. That's Joe's heart.
You leave it in there until it all is burnt.
You're gonna burn even the insides.
Or you'd stick it in there and burn the outside, and then you eat the outside, and then you stick it back in there
again,
and then burn it again.
Burn it out
get
again.
Another
Okay.
layer and just layer after layer. Do
Got
you like getting heartburn?
That's right.
Oh man. Anyway, sorry, Ryan.
Oh, it's all good. And I say all this ultimately because, like I said, it's hard to change your mom's mind on this. All you can do is be a good example. And how do you do that? How do you be a good example to your mom or other people around you who are acting this way, because you're going to encounter it your whole life. Honestly, I know like 99%, okay, actually like 100% of all the people I know aren't racist, but 99% of the people in my life, at least, aren't racist that I know, right? Some people could be in the closet about it.
Mm.
So, but anyways, so that's what I see, right, in the world. I don't actually experience that many people being racist, but it's on the news like 24/7. So does that mean it exists, or does that mean it's just news tactics? I don't know, right? It's not my place to place that judgment. It's only, it's up in the air, right? But to set an example for those people who actually are maybe transphobic or racist or whatever it is, right? The best thing you can do is humble yourself. And that can be really hard. But humble yourself to hear them out so that they can mirror you and humble themselves to hear you out. Because when you encounter someone and your fists are flying, right? It's not likely, all they're going to do is try to defend their position, right? If you come there, fists are flying, angry, stomping on the ground, or telling them they're wrong, the first thing they're going to do is defend themselves and then attack you back, right? They're going to give you examples of people being bad, and they're like going to blame the whole race on that, right? Stuff like that. Very typical. So the best thing you can do, the very best thing you can do, is to soften their heart. In order to do that, you have to engage in conversation with them. Mm-hmm. Let your guard down. Don't put your guard up. Let your guard down. Be at ease. Give them a posture of yourself that is calm, and like you position yourself so freely and carefree that they could punch you and get away with it, right? If you come with that kind of posture, it forces them to mirror you, because naturally they're not going to feel threatened, right? So I used to do this a lot when I was doing inspections, like Joe does. You know, I'd go up to a house to take pictures. They'd come out screaming, maybe threaten me with an item or whatever, and I would just hold myself. Yeah,
a
sometimes.
Weapon.
Yeah, a weapon. You know, Joe got threatened by baseball bats, and guns probably too. Yeah. So anyways,
seen them all.
Yeah, you know how it is.
Yeah.
Especially farmers. Not that farmers are bad people, but they got to protect their property.
They do, man.
They're trained to do that.
And they might have an axe or something, which really is about the scariest thing.
I've not gotten an axe before. That's intense, dude. I've gotten the shotgun, but not the axe. So anyways, you know, you walk up and they're like hollering and yelling and threatening. And if I walk up, I'm not going to be able to do anything against a gun anyways, right? So I walk up, I'm just open postured, not defensive, right? And what does it do? It transforms them because they don't feel threatened by me. And so it allows them to calm down. And then through that, I listen. I listen to what they have to say, and I agree on the points they have to make. And that's super important. If you can agree on something, that makes them feel good about themselves, right? But it also makes them feel like you respect them, and they're going to think you're smart, right? I mean, I've talked about this before, but when you tell someone they're smart, you agree with an idea that they have, they're going to be like, I'm smart, and they just agree with me, therefore they're smart. Mm-hmm. And they're going to think you're super smart.
That's right.
It's so true. It's hilarious, but it's so true. So all you have to do is find something to agree with them on. It could be like half of a point they were making. Like, oh yeah, like you just take something they say out of context. It doesn't matter. As long as you're agreeing with something, they're going to think you're smart. And at that point, they're going to start listening to you. They're going to start being opened up to what you have to say and your way of thinking. But yeah, that's I don't know. I don't think I have any much more than that. But I'm sorry you're going through this, and I understand your frustration, and I'm glad you get to, you can get it out here. So thanks for coming. And I'm gonna give it over to Joe and see what he's got to say about it. Sorry for talking for so long.
Oh, you didn't talk for that long.
Oh, okay.
It was beautiful.
Oh, 12 minutes. No, it's not bad.
Yeah, see? Pretty good. And actually, I will settle this in the chat, okay? An axe is scarier than a gun, because with a gun, generally, it'd just be like lights out.
Yeah.
With an axe,
Yeah.
it's going to be a while before it's lights out, and it probably will hurt. In fact, I've had an axe wound on I have a scar on my leg.
Oh, really?
Yeah. From when I think I was in like 6th grade, and I was chopping some wood, and I remember missing.
Ooh.
And I remember I just felt this like clunk feeling on my shin. And I thought, and it kind of felt like the back end of the axe, like the flat end or whatever. It kind of felt like that, like bumped my shin or whatever. And I was like, wait a minute. The blade was pointing that direction.
Yeah.
And so then I looked down, and then it really started to hurt once I saw it, right?
Yeah.
So, and I had this huge like gash, and it was filling up my sock with blood, and it was crazy. And I walked in the house, and I go, "Mom, I think I cut myself." And she's like,
"Cut myself?" That's what you said.
Yeah, and she goes, she was like, "Hold on, I'm on the phone."
Oh my gosh, I could totally. My mom could do that too. Not that she doesn't care, but she was always on the phone.
Yeah,
so
well,
I can imagine that.
But and the way I was just like nonchalant about it too. It wasn't like I wasn't freaking out. I was really calm. I was probably a little bit in shock. I was just kind of like, well, I don't know what to do. Mom, I cut myself. Okay, sit down over there. I'll be there in a minute. And so then she gets done with the phone, and she comes over, and she's like, "What?" No, we need to go to the emergency room now. Like,
yeah.
So yeah,
just like just a mere flesh wound.
Yeah, just 'tis but a scratch. A scratch. But anyway.
Right.
So anyway, guys, go back and replay what Ryan just said after this is over, or you could do it right now, because probably what I say will be less than good. But
not sure.
Listen to what Ryan has to say. Ryan has some serious guts when it comes to this issue. And I have a story about that, actually. There was a time, Ryan and I were part of a leadership development company, and we were at a convention. And probably, I don't know what, 15, 20,000 people at this business convention, right? And everybody's wearing suits, everybody's decked out. Even Ryan, wait. You wore a suit a few times.
I did, but I don't know if I wore a suit to this convention.
Maybe not that one. I don't know.
Not that one, but
anyway,
that's all right.
But here's the crazy thing. So our convention was going on in Columbus, and it was going on at the same time as OhioCon in Columbus. And so it's like anime, right? And so like everybody's like dressed as anime characters and stuff and costumes, and it's January, and it's cold, and like there's some skimpy anime outfits. And I'm like,
yeah. Jeez,
I'm like, what?
It's so cold.
How are they surviving? That's some serious commitment right there. Cosplay in the winter is the bane of warmth.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the bane of wrath. Okay, it's warmth. That works too. Yeah.
Warmth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it was so cold, and so. But here's the funny thing. Everybody was kind of noticing, because we were in and out of the same hotels, and everybody was seeing each other and everything. So there's all these business suit people, and then there's all these anime cosplay people, right? And so at one point in time, one of the talks on stage, somebody made a comment about, I don't know, were they kind of making fun of him or something a little bit?
Yeah, they had a couple of comments to say. I can't even remember at all, because
yeah. But
It's not that.
there were a few comments from some leaders on stage, talking about, whoa, look at those people, right? And stuff like that. So Ryan, would you email him?
I think so. No,
Yeah.
I think I sent him either an email or a text.
Yeah. See, by this point in time, we had started doing a music project for him, so we had the contact information of one of the co-founders. Ryan emailed or texted the co-founder of this entire company and was like, "Hey, what's up with that?" Right? I mean, he didn't say that.
I said it in very kind terms, but yes, okay.
Like
Fair,
called him
that's pretty
out.
much it.
Like totally called him out. And I was like, "Dude, that's awesome. Like Ryan's got some guts for standing up for people." So I applaud you, Ryan.
Oh, thank you.
So, yep. So
And their response though was, I remember their response, and they said, "Yeah, we realized that we did that, and we are actually planning on having someone come on stage and apologizing." And I was like, "Good, thank you."
Yep. So yeah, no, that was really awesome. So, but so Ryan really is a champion for non-prejudiceness. Even like in the case of your topic, Anonymous, you're talking about things that aren't necessarily controllable all the time. Some of these things are inherent in who we are, and it's just something that we have to deal with. Like there's trans, there's, whatever, if it's our race or whatever. Some of these things are kind of forced upon us against, we don't choose this, right? And Ryan even defends the people who have the choice, right? Which is really cool. So anyway, Anonymous, now I'll actually get to what I was going to say about this. Anonymous, I love you.
Oh, me too.
I love you. I know I haven't met you in person, but I love you. And, it can be so hard. And what Ryan was saying is so, so true. The people closest to us respect our opinions the least. A lot of times, especially if they deviate from theirs. If we agree, then it's fine, right? If like we just agree with them, then it's fine. But there are going to be points in time when they might be wrong. Like grossly wrong. Seriously wrong. And may need some correction. And what Ryan was saying was so true. If you go in guns a-blazing, hands up, like ready to fight, they're just going to fight back. But if we go in calm, then, you kind of set the tone for that interaction, right? And if you're calm, they can remain calm. And one of the best ways to address this, if you're planning on addressing this with your mom, ask questions. So I noticed you said some stuff like, what's going on with that? You know what?
Make sure, I just want to say real quick.
One other thing that has become clear that was lost in translation. Apparently it's their family that are the Italians. It's actually other people, which was not abundantly clear in the topic, but
okay.
So it is so I apologize. Anonymous apologizes. But
that's fine. I guess all of it stands true.
Right.
Just different people.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to also just bring that up just so people are aware. So
got it. Thanks.
Perfect. So basically, whatever kind of situation you're in, whether it's a racism situation, whether it's a transphobia situation or homophobia situation or any situation where somebody is being a bigot, like Ryan was talking about, one of the best things you can do is ask, why do you think that? Now, it's a fairly pointed question, so it helps to remain calm, and you might be interested at your answer. And try and ask in a way like you really want to know the answer. Because you do. But sometimes I've been so guilty of this. Ryan probably hasn't because he's a saint. But I will ask questions like that knowing what I'm going to hear.
Mm-hmm.
I know in my head what I'm going to hear, and I know I'm not going to like it. And so I'll kind of ask it in a snobbiest kind of way or whatever, right? And so I'll be like, what's going on with that? You know, I might even throw in that.
Feisty, dude. Wow. I've never been on the receiving end of that, so pretty good.
Yeah. So saints can be guilty. Yes, yes, they are.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of sinners who are saints.
Mm-hmm.
All of them.
Yep. Well, kind of.
Okay, not all of them. Almost all of them. We're gonna go with that.
Almost. Depends on if you consider angels saints or not. But
they don't wait, do they?
Saint
They never
Michael, the
died, but they're in heaven.
archangel.
Yeah, I know. I guess they're saints, yeah, because I mean, by definition.
Anyway, that's not what this topic is about.
Nevertheless.
So yes. So how do you make peace with your mom? How do you come to terms with your mom? Well, a dialogue has to start. And I would go back and listen to what Ryan said, because that is one of the best ways you can approach this stuff. And really, you really need to, in our minds, when we approach this type of situation, we need to seek to understand that other person and where they're coming from, because there might be some kind of hitch somewhere, some experience in their life that caused them to think this way automatically, and it's kind of a knee-jerk reaction. Or maybe, they have friends or family members that came before them that had this point of view, and so now they have this point of view just kind of by default, right? So sometimes it's not the person's fault that they think the way they do. Sometimes they've just been programmed that way through their upbringing, through social circles, through whatever. And it's sad, because it really kind of closes our hearts when we are a bigot, and when we are prejudiced against anybody for whatever reason. It really closes our heart. It closes us off from that person or that group of people or whatever, because automatically now we are in a standoffish position with anyone who's like that. And so if we automatically judge that person, we put up a wall. And now it makes it even harder for us to know that. So when we see somebody who's acting in a bigoted way, one of the first things to think, obviously it's enraging, but somewhere deep down, we need to have a little bit of compassion for them, because what they're doing is they're closing off their heart to some incredible relationships that they could have with other people if they would just open up a little bit. And that's sad, because it's just less life for them. So in that manner, if you can start thinking about that, and also start thinking, I love this person, even though they might be acting this way, I still love them as a person. I really don't like what they're doing, but I love them. And when we can come at it from that direction, when we can come at it from a position of love and inquiring about why they think that way, and calmly, like Ryan was talking about, you might just get them to open up. And maybe open up enough where they can start thinking through their bigotedness. Here's the other recommendation I have. Think of this as a long game. Don't think of this as, hey, we're going to have one conversation and I'm going to say something really smart and snappy and they're going to change right now. We need to take the long view. And generally that's the same in any type of situation that we're dealing with people, because if we see something going on in somebody and we love them and we care about them and we want to see them make a shift in that area, people take time to change. All of us do. Especially when something's hardwired in our conscience or in, our brains or our hearts or whatever. It takes a while for us to sort through that and pick it apart and think, whoa, really, why? But if you can come at it as a calm, loving, inquisitive why, then they might start to ask the question of themselves, which then starts that ball rolling, which then can lead to some kind of change. But we will never, ever change another person. I will never change another person, ever. I can influence people. I can make an impact with people. But I will never change somebody's mind. They do that. So the best thing we can do is to think in terms of, I'm not going to change their mind. What can I say or ask that will get them to think about this so they can change their mind? Because ultimately that's what's going to have to happen anyway. So anyway, that's pretty much what I have. Ryan, did you have anything else on this?
I just really liked what you were saying. Especially about I would say go back and listen to everything Joe said, because he said a lot of really good things. But I wanted to give an example of something he was talking about. Early on, he was talking about how you approach someone and you ask them, why'd you do that? Or why do you think that? Right? But there's a wrong way to do that. And Joe was talking about that. He was pointing he's pointing out an example of himself doing that. I'd like to give you an example of the right way to ask people why they think what they think. Even when you're mad at them, if you can use words like these, it helps a lot. You say, hey, listen, I just don't understand where you're coming from and I want to understand. So can you explain to me what why you think this about this person? Or hey, in the case of your mom, I'm gonna read this real quick. You had said this. It's in our chat over here. It says, I just want to know how to come to terms that a woman whose womb I came out of supported and acted out a hate crime, or acted in a hate crime. You can go to that woman, your mom, and ask her, because you're never going to get a good answer that you're going to come to terms with. And if your mom acted out a hate crime, right, then what are you going to do? You can either A, let it go, or B, try to change her. Now, changing someone, like Joe said, you have to look for the long game. And it's not about changing them into a different person or having a different personality. It's about trying to bring out the best in them and helping them understand things that they might not understand, right? Because we are all like that. We all do stupid things. We all stand up for justice. Sometimes that isn't real justice. Sometimes it's actually revenge, or sometimes it's a hate crime, right? We don't, a lot of times, I was just listening to a talk, and the guy said that there's a TED talk, and the person says, how does it feel to be wrong? And a lot of people gave the answer. like, oh, it feels terrible. It's like, it's like you're so ashamed and you're just like, you want to defend yourself and you're like, I can't believe I was wrong. It hurts and it's annoying. And
Mhm.
she's like, no, you're all wrong. I thought that was hilarious. And then she said, I asked how it feels when you're wrong. We don't know when we're wrong. So it doesn't feel any different than when we're right. Isn't that right? A lot of times we don't know when we're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We're just acting out what we think is right.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do things because we believe they're evil. We do things because we think they're going to make the world better, or we think that it's going to make us happy. That's why a lot of people do evil things.
Mm-hmm.
They're searching for happiness, and it's just executed in a very foul fashion, in an evil way, right? So if you go and you can ask your mom sincerely, hey, I want to understand, because and you can say the disclaimer, right? I always say, if you're afraid someone's going to take something the wrong way, put the disclaimer out there first. Say, hey, don't take me wrong. I don't want to be mad at you. I don't understand and I can't figure it out in my head. So could you please explain? What is it that made you do that? Like, explain it to me. And they're going to go off on some crazy thing. And you're not going to agree with like pretty much any of it.
Right. Yes, that's true.
But you can find something you agree with. And usually it's not necessarily what they say, but the idea of something. Like, they say their spiel and you just go, that makes sense. So you're just basically trying to make the world a better place. And they go, yeah, duh. And you're like, oh, that's actually really good. I like that you're trying to make the world a better place. Now they, again, like I said before, are going to think that you're smart because you just said that they were smart. And if you agree with them and they're smart, then you're smart.
Absolutely.
So now you have the opportunity to continue the conversation. Now, that's the opening, right? I don't know how it's going to go from there, but try, like Joe said, to remain calm and allow them to talk their mind. And then talk your mind. Don't expect to change them. Play the long game. Mm-hmm. Or you can say this. You can do what I said, right? Or you can do this. You can look at your mom and say, okay, they are not me. And the actions they took were theirs. It's not my responsibility to make sure that they're a good, upstanding, civilized, moral person, right? It's not in my power to make that happen, and therefore it's not my responsibility, and it shouldn't affect me, right? Obviously, if you love the person, you're going to want to go in there and try to help them. That's how you're going to be. But sometimes you look at them and you go, I can't help them. And so what do you have to do? You asked, how do I come to terms? You come to terms with being born from a woman that committed a hate crime. You come to terms with that by realizing that you are not them. They are them. Mm-hmm. And you are you. You don't have to be upset about another person doing something that was wrong. And I know that's really hard because certain personalities kind of feel that more than others. And for me, I'm rather reserved. I'm an individual kind of thing. Like I don't get tied up in that sort of thing. So it's a lot easier for me than everybody else. Not everybody else, but a lot of other people. And I understand that. But my point is, if I can do it, you can do it too. Even though it's naturally my personality, you can do it too. It's just a matter of realizing, hey, that's them. I'm me. What am I going to do with my life? Am I going to let this turn me into a bad and sour person? Am I going to let my mom's actions dictate the rest of my life? Because they did this crazy thing. Now I'm upset and I'm going to be a mean person. Or am I just going to say they did that crazy thing and I'm not going to let them make me into a mean person? I'm not going to let them stop me from being my best, from keeping control and doing wonderful things, right? You have all of your life ahead of you. And it's going to be full of incredible things that you're going to do for yourself and for other people. And this is a great opportunity to grow. So I'm sorry that you had to go through it, right? It stinks. But ultimately, those are your two options. You can confront it or you can let it pass. And both of them are good options. My thing is, what's in your heart? Mm-hmm. Do you think it's more important to let it pass? Or do you think it's more important to speak to your mom about it and try to have an impact on her life? That's up to you. But that's what I got. Joe, do you got anything else?
Maybe just a little story.
Okay.
About a recent, there was a recent conflict, we should say. And it's interesting. It seems to happen with my in-laws sometimes. But anyway, one of the things here's something to look out for, Anonymous. Actually, I don't know if I want to tell the whole story. There's some personal goo in here. So at any rate, there was an incident that happened, and basically it had become clear to me that the rules for me were different than the rules for other people in this family or in this situation, right? The rules for me were much more strict and much more pointed, and the rules for them were much more relaxed. And I'm noticing this dynamic happen, right? And it's impacting some pretty important events happening in the near future. So I called him out. And I did it when I was a little bit hijacked, which was probably not a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't give myself a cooling period, you know?
Oh, no.
I was pretty but the logic was bulletproof, so there was no arguing the logic, except that you could deny, and that's basically kind of what happened, was the denial. But there really was no way to argue. So depending on the type of personality you're dealing with, you might get a couple different responses. One would be just kind of a flat out denial. You know, if you're dealing with more of a passive person, they'll probably just deny it and, you know, hey, let it go and just, you know, kind of let you do your thing. If you approach a more aggressive person, they will fight back. So, especially, people don't like being trapped by their own logic.
That's true.
You know, people don't enjoy that. I've never enjoyed that.
My favorite. Favorite activity.
Yes. So, at any rate, keep an eye out for that. When you approach this, because there are some things that can be done that hurt. I saw this Painted Jaiberb says, I mean, you can only control how you react to other people. You can't control how other people act or behave. That is so true. But sometimes people do things or say things and it hurts a lot. And it can charge us up or it can make us depressed. or it can make us feel despair or, whatever. And so approaching it in the moment of the emotion has never really worked out that well for me. It's much better if I let myself process the emotion of the moment and then come back and talk about it. Because then you're calm, you're collected, and, and it might hurt for a while. There have been times when I've been out of commission for a week, maybe longer, because somebody said something. And it's weird. Like, I don't know, man. I'm just like, my waves are really, really slow.
Yeah.
Like, I married a person whose waves are like, whoa. Like, so like you might say something and like she'll be like super freaked out. Raw, and then like 5 minutes later, hey, like everything's fine. Like, I guess I just turn into a brooding mess for like a week.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so the point is, try not to approach this when you are in the emotion, when you're in the upset mode, because that makes things harder. It's okay to be stern. It's okay to be firm, and it's okay to ask questions, and it's okay to be matter-of-factly. And sometimes if as we learn to control our emotions more, when we're in that emotional state, we can kind of control them and channel them into an assertive stance.
Mm-hmm.
That then it kind of can awaken us, right? But we have to that takes. I'm still learning how to do that. Every once in a while, I find the nut, like the blind pig, right? But like,
yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, every once in a while it happens on accident, I think. Most of the time it doesn't.
Yeah. Yep. So anyway, but Anonymous, I love you. And thank you so much for this topic, because it is so important. It is so important to figure out how do we discuss these important issues with people? How do, when people hurt us, which is going to happen. We're in a world of other people with all kinds of crazy opinions that aren't like ours. I've got different opinions than Ryan in some cases.
I'm usually the one that's wrong, so it's my lesson to learn.
Yeah, usually I would disagree with that.
Whatever, dude.
But anyway, you're awesome, Anonymous. Thank you so much for the topic. I hope some of that was helpful. And I hope, my hopes and my prayers are for you and your mom and your relationship, and that you can grow through all of this. Because that's ultimately, when we're faced with such a situation, it really is an opportunity to grow, which is cool. So anyway, I love you. You're awesome. And yes, we should move on to the next topic, shouldn't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ash, I see you're here. Are you, is it a good time to do your topic? And I know we need to do the second one.
Are you done eating, Ash?
I know Ash is done eating, and then I saw there was the watering of the flowers. Okay, now's a good time. Let's do it quickly. And it was the Getting My Hopes Up one?
Yeah, they wanted to do Getting My Hopes Up.
Okay, gotcha. So I'll click the link, and it'll be good. I better turn off this topic. Boom. I love hosting and producing the show at the same time. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keeps me on my toes.
It's fun to host.
Yes, I like hosting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So there's the link to Ash's topic. Feel free to click the link, and Princess, whenever you're ready, you can read it.
Awesome. This is Getting My Hopes Up by Ash. Hello. On Saturday, I was talking to my boyfriend. He lives about 300 miles away. He said that he was going to be coming out to the town I live in a few weeks ago. About a month ago. So I asked him on Saturday if he had set a date yet. I was so excited to see him. I hadn't seen him since the shutdown, and he wasn't there or the last day of school, on the last day of school as well. He is also a different person, more open and stuff like that, from when we were in school. I've been making up scenarios in my head, like what we do together and what we could talk about, as well as where we could get away to. When I asked him for a date, that all crumbled down. He told me that his mom had already left and told him that he couldn't come. She said that he had to stay since they were selling their cow in a few days. I had asked him if he could just ask his parents if he could come and visit me. He said definitely not, because his dad hates the town and his mom doesn't want to come back. He said that he didn't know if he would even come out this year. At first, I didn't start crying. I was just really upset. But then my mom asked me if he was coming out soon, a bit later that night. That's when I broke down. I went to my room and ended up crying myself to sleep. I did that yesterday as well. I'm not usually one to cry as well. I don't know why I'm so upset about this. I don't know who else to turn to, so I'd figure I'd turn to you guys. I'm sorry that I haven't been super present. Ash. P.S. I was also thinking about going by the name Halo. I'm not sure about it, or even if it sounds good, so I'd like you guys if you could help me out with that as well. From Ash.
Well, Ash, thank you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry this happened. I'm sorry. This as I was reading through this with Princess, I'm like, man, it's heartbreaking. Because yeah, to have your hopes up, to be expecting this great thing, and then all of a sudden to have them just dashed, it's so hard. And then I can definitely relate with the crying and crying in your pillow and crying yourself to sleep. I've done that before, many times actually. Like Ryan said, my heart is a marshmallow.
Yeah, nice
crispy,
and crispy
on the outside.
super soft and gooey on the inside.
Yes. It's interesting though. Here's the thing to be careful. I've actually had it to the point sometimes where, I'll cry about stuff for a while and then I'll stop and I can't cry. And that's when I know I'm in trouble. Because that's when you get the really deep, like you're in like depression / despair mode, and like your chest is like super tight and it's like, ugh. But anyway, Ash, what I'm trying to say there is I can relate, and I'm really, really sorry that you're going through this and that you're feeling this way. I see in the chat that you're doing better today, but still feel like garbage. Yeah, I can understand that, and it might take some time for this to heal. So, man, my thoughts and my prayers are with you, because as you go through this ordeal, hopefully it can lead you to a stronger place. Sometimes we don't always see that in the moment, and sometimes we don't remember when we're in those deep dark times that they're temporary. We don't remember that, and it can be hard when we're facing that moment, that we don't remember that, this every emotional state passes, and this will pass as well. And sometimes we're left with scars, but the moment will pass, the emotion will pass, and hopefully on the other side, you can be a better person. And Ryan is so great, so I'm going to turn it over to him. Ryan?
Thanks. You're great too, man.
Thank you.
Ash, I like the name Ash, but I also think the name Halo sounds very, very pleasing. So yeah, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you would like to do there. Yeah, I like Joe said, I can relate too. I think we can all relate to that. Not necessarily we've gone through the exact same painful scenario, but just getting your hopes up about something and then being so let down that you're just led to tears, right? That's rough. What's interesting is there's nothing wrong about getting your hopes up. And I want to tell you, please continue to get your hopes up. why? I remember hearing someone say, I guess we've all heard it. Don't get your hopes up. Don't get your hopes up, right? People who say that um, are afraid, right, that their hopes are gonna, be dropped. But here's the thing: hope is what we live for, right? Without hope, we feel absolutely, well, of course, hopeless, but empty. Like there's nothing. We despair. Without hope, man, life makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
It can feel just so void, because what are we doing? And then you ask yourself, like, what am I doing here? And you realize you have no answer because you have no hope. And that's not a good place to be. So I urge you, don't let this be something that puts up a wall to getting your hopes up about things. I hate the phrase, don't get your hopes up. Mm-hmm. Now, it can be used in a nonchalant way where it's not offensive, and I'm fine with that. But if it's like someone telling it to another person, like to be, I don't know, snide, or to be critical, or I don't know, whatever, to be, in order to diminish your hope, I think that's an awful thing, right? We want to make sure we have hope. So I think it's great. People put up walls because it hurts when you're let down, right? When you get hurt, you're just like, I don't know what to do, and so you build up walls. And a lot of people build up walls against hope, and they continue to do that, and it gets higher and higher and wider and wider and thicker until they're just a depressed mess and they can't find their way through anything in life. And so I really don't want that for you, Ash. I just highly suggest you to find other things to be hopeful for. When something like this happens to me, usually the way out of it is for me to look for the next hopeful thing. It isn't for me to go, oh, I was such a stupid person for hoping that we could do all this stuff. I was so stupid for imagining in my head all these fun things we could do and then it not happening. I was so stupid, and now I'm hurt and I hurt myself. Okay, yeah, you probably did hurt yourself, but it doesn't make you stupid. Your crying is a manifestation of the value of what it is you're crying about, right? You're crying because you love this person, and that's a very valuable thing. You're crying because you wanted to cherish the time with them. That's a very, very valuable thing, right? Don't let that be stamped out by pain. Exonerate that. Lift that up and recognize that pain is a blessing. That pain, that sorrow that you're feeling, points you to what matters, and that it's beautiful. So when you feel that pain and it hurts, embrace it and go, yes, I am willing to feel this, because this person is super important. And it stinks that I missed out, but you know what? That person is still important. Mm-hmm. And there will be many opportunities in the future. If this is something that forces me to quit because it's too painful, that's dumb. I'm going to make this make me even stronger and allow this to pursue that even more, to pursue my boyfriend, to pursue that experience, to pursue time with them. And I will fight harder for it. Allow that to be enkindled in your heart. Right? Doesn't that sound nice? So take this as a I don't know, as a chance to be thankful. Right? And like I said, when I encounter scenarios like this, the best thing that I can do, the best thing that I've done rather, in my experiences, is find the next most hopeful thing. Because I recognize that just because this happened, just like Joe said, it's temporary. Just because this happened doesn't mean everything's over.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much more to life, and it's amazing. But you have to see it. Don't get caught in this moment so much so that you stop looking beyond it. I think a lot of times we do that, right? But it's so helpful if we can just take a moment to step out and see the bigger picture. When we see the whole grand picture of life, from birth to death, right? When we step out of our moment, out of that emotional cloud, we recognize we're in a sea of clouds and it's beautiful, right? When you can step out of that moment and see the big picture and go, oh, this is just a tiny piece of an incredible thing. And this little piece, I might not even remember it in 40 minutes. No, okay. In 10 years. But even if I don't remember it, I can allow it to shape me into a more incredible human being with more experiences, a more full life, a more beautiful heart, right? I heard it recently that the way we can judge a person by the way we can judge the humanity of a person, right? Are they good at being human or not? It's a weird thing to think about, but the way that we can look at someone and truly judge them is by their ability to suffer. Because only by that ability can we love. Because as our suffering temperance increases, our love increases, because we're willing to go through more to give more, right? And so obviously it's not okay to judge people, right? And I don't mean judge them in that kind of way. Like when people say don't judge people, we're talking about like don't condemn people, don't look at people and be mean to them for no reason, or judge a book by its cover, etc. What I'm saying is we can look at an individual and go, wow, that person is an incredible human being. They've embraced humanity. Because what is humanity but the manifestation of love, right? I don't know, if you're Christian, right? I don't know if you're Christian, but if you are, then your belief is that we exist because God loved us. That's why we exist. We exist because God loved us. And then poof, that love exists, and that's what we are, right? So if you're Christian, then that points you in that direction of, wait a minute. So as I become more and more loving, I become more and more human, as I was designed. But that only increases when we can suffer. And that's hard, because no one wants to suffer. No one does, except for maybe me. I like it a little bit. No, I'm just kidding. But no,
You're so humble.
I know, right? She's the most humble person here, by far. You guys aren't humble at all. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so honestly, though, I think that's beautiful. And so, Ash or Halo, whatever you'd like to go by, if you can take this moment to recognize the only reason you're feeling this is not because you were hopeful, it's because you're full of love. Mm-hmm. And your desire to act that love out was snuffed. And thus your love increases. Because you've suffered. So allow your suffering to strengthen you. And that's all I got. Joe, I'm gonna give it to you. The true humble man here, who doesn't like to suffer, apparently. What the heck?
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like those moments. I know
Jeez.
it's weird, right?
No,
Like I should enjoy this. In fact, recently, I can remember a time not too long ago where I went through this same type of process where I was crying a lot about different things, and just there was so much stress and there was so much hardship and there was
I
so
feel
much
for you, man. I
going
know.
on. Huh?
Jeez. I feel for you. I would be in this I'd be bawling too, dude. Hard.
But and then came the day when it just stopped. And that was the hardest day. Because then, like, I remember just sitting there and it felt like somebody was just scooping my chest out of me. Like, just like it was physical pain. And I remember praying at that time, like, God, could this please stop? And immediately what shot through my head was, no, this is your gift.
Yeah.
And I just had this picture of, like, just being there by myself. And, like, I'm Catholic. So we have this theology that we all have guardian angels and stuff like that, right? And so I'm just like picturing my guardian angel, like, way far away, just watching.
Great. That's an image. Nice.
Just like, Yep. Like, just left alone. But we're really not ever alone, really. I mean, if in a spiritual sense. But at any rate, so I know what this is like, and it's so hard. And emotions can just take you on a ride. It's nuts. But you know what sometimes we need to do? Is lean into them. It can be more painful when we resist. In fact, a lot of times we suffer because we resist what's happening. We don't like what's happening, and so we resist it. We don't want to believe it. We don't want to agree with it. We want to try and figure out a way to fix it. Whatever. We just don't like it. But if we can learn to lean in and let those feelings just cover us. Then in there, it can be painful. It can be hard. But there can also be peace. Because now we're no longer struggling against it. We're letting it happen. We're allowing it to happen, allowing ourselves to feel these emotions and understand, this is part of a rich life. This is part of absolute riches in our heart and mind and soul. It can give us strength to go through this hard time. And I'll tell you, I said at the beginning, these feelings are temporary. But in that moment, when I'm praying and God's telling me, no, this is your gift, I'm giving it to you, and I'm picturing my angel like looking at me. He wasn't laughing, but he was.
Yeah, could you? No.
But and these are all things that came through my mind. Like, I don't know if it was really happening or not, but this is just kind of as I was going through this experience, this is what was coming into my mind. And it's like, wow, as I was doing this, I could not wrap my head around the thought that this is temporary.
Mm.
I couldn't. It was so hard. But man, it is. Because the next day, I got to. No, it was actually later that day. No. This happened over the course of an evening and then a morning. And then that afternoon, I got to play my drums for a long time. And I got to just like pour some of this energy into playing my drums, into what I love doing. And, you know, so if there's something like that for you, whether it's music or art or you have gardening there, something that you can do, that you can pour yourself into, you find what happens, just like Ryan said, it increases your love. And you might do that thing with more love, with a little bit more passion, with a little bit more fervor. And then on the other side of that, that's when everything started to kind of smooth out and be like, okay. Now I'm getting a grasp on things. This is all right, you know. But so I would encourage you to do that. So the process was allow yourself to feel these things. Allow them in. These emotions are gifts. Joy is a gift. Agony is a gift. Doesn't feel like a very good gift. But Princess said in the chat, I think it was Princess, without that pain, how would we ever know what joy is? If everything was always joyful, joy would become drab. And that wouldn't be any fun. So these peaks and valleys are built into our lives to help us experience these things at a deeper level. We experience this deep pain. And then on the other side of that, we can experience great joy because we have the deep pain to compare it to. But all those experiences can increase our love, like Ryan was saying. And it's a beautiful thing. And in fact, I would posit that the suffering increases our love more than the joy. Would you agree with that, Ryan?
Yes. Yes. I think joy is a manifestation, or sorry, a result of love.
Okay.
More so, right? I mean, oftentimes we feel joy because of love. We don't, sometimes we feel suffering because of love too, right? But it doesn't tend that our love increases when we're joyful, though it does from time to time. I will say that, yeah, it does. It does from time to time. We become more, okay. It becomes easier to love when we're joyful, right? It's easier to love on someone when we're joyful. It's easier to go through minuscule pain when we're joyful, right? But the thing that increases our capacity to love is the suffering, because joy doesn't increase our capacity. It just makes it easy to do it.
Right. Yeah. But if everything's joyful, it's easy to love somebody, right? If you're having a stellar, amazing, wonderful marriage, it's easy to stay married.
That's right. So easy. You don't have to do anything.
If everything's so happy, clappy, great, you know.
That's right.
But anyway, Ash, I see some of your comments. Yeah, they don't seem like gifts in the heat of the moment. They don't. It feels like a curse, right? But it really is a gift. And so allow yourself to feel it. Dig into it. Lean into it. And allow yourself to experience it fully. Cry. Cry until your tears are gone. Because your tear ducts are empty and you're dehydrated or something.
Your eyes are very swollen.
Yeah. Very.
Don't look in the mirror.
Yeah, like getting socks for Christmas. Honestly, I like getting socks for Christmas if I need socks.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. You can only do that so many Christmases before you realize like these don't fit in my drawer anymore.
yeah, yeah.
I need to get rid of some of these.
Well, did you ever have one of those really ugly cries? It's not a pretty image, Ash. Yeah. So like,
Oh, yeah.
man, sometimes when I cry, it turns into this ugly cry. There's like snot.
Oh man.
It's like just so there's tears and then there's just like boogers everywhere.
Ugh. Yeah, that's an ugly cry. I'll tell you.
And then you go lay down on your pillow and then you look at your pillowcase and you're like, oh man, like, that's awful. I gotta put my head on that later. Nope. New pillowcase.
And I'm too much crying to do anything about this. So you go on the floor.
Yep. Yeah, it started as a silent cry, then took a turn for the worse. I understand. Sometimes it just starts with some tears, some tense tears, and then it lets loose and you're sobbing like like you like the voice, everything. I understand. It can rack your body, but experience it. Let yourself experience it. Let it wash over you. Don't resist it because that's just going to make it even more tense and harder on your body. If you can relax and allow it to happen, you can feel peace in the middle of it. Just turn the pillow.
Okay, yes, that's what I was trying not to laugh at. I was like, "Ew, Ash! Oh my god, what? It's so gross."
You can turn the pillow, but what happens when you've used both sides of the pillow like that?
You
Yeah,
get
and
another one.
You
Well,
get
no, your
another pillow.
sheets- you have to change your sheets if you
have
change
to
your
just
pillow.
change
If you
your
turn your pillow.
pillowcase. Yeah, you just change your pillowcase.
If
No,
you,
you can-
if
no,
you,
But
don't,
it gets soaked
'cause
into the pillow.
Because
If it gets soaked into the pillow's wet and it soaks into the next pillowcase. You get a new pillow. Unless you guys haven't cried that much before. I don't know.
Hey, I've soaked a few pillows for sure.
Joe's snot effectively covers the pillow so that the juices don't get through, so that the tears and the water can't seep through the fabric. So he doesn't have to worry about it.
Yes. So anyway, Ash, I love you. Ryan, did you have anything else?
I don't have anything else
All right,
except for I love Ash as well.
man. Ash, I'm so sorry, but I can totally relate.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're doing the right thing. You said you played your guitar, it helped
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
You played with your neighbor's dog. There are little things like that. There's centering moments. Sometimes it can just center us to just pet a dog.
Mhm.
Sometimes to say a prayer, sometimes to read a little bit, sometimes to play. But we got to figure out what it is for us, and sometimes, it's like I said, folding paper origami flowers, right? I have oodles of them.
Those are
now.
so cool, dude. So cute.
These are just little ones.
I really like this. Yeah. I'm gonna come over there and snatch them.
I got a whole
Some
box.
of-
You want them?
Really?
Actually,
I wouldn't know what to do with them, but that's really cool.
I have a box full of them. Like they're all
That's
different
cool.
sizes. They're not all little
Mhm.
like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. But yeah, it's something that you can do, that you can actually do and put a little bit of focus into and a little bit of passion into.
Yeah, I think expressing your passion out. I think that's smart.
Mm-hmm. And then what can happen is it's not a distraction, but it's a release. Right? It's a way for you to take that energy, because it is energy. Oh my gosh, is it energy? It doesn't feel like it because it's so consuming, but it is energy. And if you can learn to take that energy and put it into something, that thing that you put it into will be so beautiful. So I would encourage you to do that, Ash. And I'm so sorry again, because I know it's hard. I know it hurts. And I'll be thinking of you and praying for you, and hoping that you can figure out a way through this event and that you can make your relationship stronger through this event as well. So, yep. I
Ash,
love you.
your no, your bloodstained flowers for their wedding. I would implore you to look up Jewish weddings in ancient history. You might find some interesting things.
Nah, there are interesting things.
Yeah, you might find some interesting things about blood in wedding ceremonies and flowers. So, yeah.
Oh my.
check it out.
We went there. All right. Now on that note,
Okay, don't.
I'm not going to
it's not
say
PG.
anything.
It's not
I'm not,
PG-13.
It is
so
not PG-13. No.
it's a wedding, so of course it's not. Well, actually, that's not true. They got married at like 12, so it is technically PG-13.
PG-12.
Yeah, it's PG-12 if they're 12 years old. And there's, anyways,
Yeah.
Carry
You
on.
win. Hey, go ahead and look it up. We're not going to talk about it. So,
you got that right.
We've already said too much.
Yep. Sorry about that, YouTube.
Anyway, so let's move on. Let's we got time to do one more, don't we?
I
We
hope
started a
so.
little late, so I think we do.
Yes. Let's do it.
Yep. So, oh my gosh, I almost accidentally stopped the stream. Don't do that.
No, yeah, that's not a good idea.
Man, oh man. Baka, are you still here? I saw you
Baka.
here. I saw you.
Yes, Baka's still here. They made a comment not too long ago.
Yeah, make the box plushie a pillow 2-in-1. I see that comment.
Yes, absolutely.
I would get cry snot on the box pillow plushie.
That's one way to advertise it. Perfect
Box
for a
of tissue.
perfect for a good cry.
Perfect
Oh
for
yeah,
a
like a
good
box of
cry.
tissue. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, it has
I like that
box
idea.
on the side of it's a box plushie, but like the top of it has tissues coming out of it.
There
so it's a
you-
tissue
hey.
box.
That's
Yeah.
smart. Yeah.
Good idea.
Why not? Why is that not a product already?
Is it a product already?
I can't imagine that it is.
The crying pillow, because everybody needs a pillow to cry into. So just
Yeah.
just figure out how to get tissues in there or a roll of toilet paper.
This is a terrible idea, guys. Let's move on.
I think there actually potentially are plushes that can hold tissues inside them.
That's
Oh,
true.
that's awesome.
There are. There definitely are.
They might not be good pillows though. If they got a box inside it.
I mean, it's probably a better pillow than nothing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Better than a rock. So yeah.
Yeah.
So let's do Baka's really let's get to that one. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Yeah. So Ash, again, thank you. You're amazing.
Absolutely.
I love you. More than Ryan does. No, I'm just kidding.
You know what? You suffered pretty hard, so maybe. Maybe.
I don't know about that.
Nah.
Yeah, exactly. See, nah.
Nah.
I'm
I
sure
love you
not.
so hard.
I love
So
you so
strong.
hard.
I love you so hard. I love you so hard. You won't even be able to breathe.
Oh my
At all.
gosh.
Not straight.
Don't make me not breathe.
Yeah. Well, I'll love you a little bit softer then.
All right. I like breathing sometimes.
I love breathing sometimes. That's a statement you should tell your wife tomorrow.
I love breathing sometimes.
Hey, honey, I love breathing sometimes.
I do.
Actually, no, don't say that. That sounds like wait, you feel like you can't breathe around me? That'd be bad. I just like making random comments sometimes.
Yes.
So
It
what's
is
our topic?
certainly a charm of yours.
Thank you.
So,
Very charming.
Baka's topic is pain of remembering.
Yes, and you can click the link. It's legit.
Good. Very good. Very good. Mwahahaha.
Whoa, Princess just turned into that.
Yeah, into cute mode. Let's go.
This is serious. No laughing.
Yeah, this is Baka's topic.
Okay. Anyway, Princess, when you're ready.
It's only been 2 months since my father passed, and I
Mm.
still miss him like it happened yesterday.
Mm.
I don't feel like remembering him like I used to is bad, and I don't ever want to forget. Me and my father used to do a lot of things together, like fishing, hunting, dog training, etc. I still enjoy doing these things, but I find it hard to completely focus when I'm but I find it hard to completely focus when I'm struggling at doing them, not knowing what to do when something goes wrong, or when I remember how me and my father used to do these things together. They kind of all merge together. And lately, I've just not been myself, and I'm starting to hate myself more and more. I feel like I'm hiding the fact that losing my father hurt me more than I'm showing. Now that I'm starting to hate the activities I once did with my father. I also feel like this happened at the worst time too, since it's just at the start of summer, not seeing my friends and having them there to help me get through it. I still want to enjoy the activities that I enjoyed with my father. How do I manage these negative feelings that push me away from the activities that I enjoy? From Baka.
Mm.
Mm.
Baka, I'm so sorry. I remember when you mentioned it. I think you mentioned it in Discord um, when your dad died. I remember that. I remember, you know, he'd been sick, and uh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's rough.
I'm so sorry. I would, there's. It's so hard to know what to say. I remember a friend of mine, his son passed away, and I, I told my friend, I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't know what words to even come up with here. And he said, Joe, sometimes there aren't any words. Sometimes it just matters that you're here, and that you show that you care. Is that's the words enough. And I remember him saying that, and it kind of struck me because I always try and figure out the right thing to say, you know, and you know fumble around and
Mm.
whatever. But man, Baka, I'm so sorry. And I'm so sorry that things are going this way. I'm so sorry that things that you're doing, that you used to do with him, just don't, they feel you don't like him anymore. It probably feels empty. uh, my heart goes out to you, my friend. And so I'm going to turn it over to Ryan because he is very wise, so you should listen to him.
Thanks, Joe.
Ryan.
Um, I appreciate that you think so. I,
Yeah,
I try my best.
I do think
Um,
so. I think so twice.
thanks twice. um, Baka, this is yeah, that's very sad. That's got to be really hard. I've been very blessed in my life that I haven't had anyone like that close to me pass. So I don't think I can entirely um, share and empathize with you, but I do understand how hard that is, and that feeling of pain. I'm going to tell you the same exact thing about the last topic. That pain that you're feeling is just points to the value of that person,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Always remember that. That pain is so strong, and it doesn't stop. It just keeps on going for a long time. Eventually, I don't mean it doesn't stop like it'll never stop. There might always be pain for the rest of your life, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it might stop. It might go away. I'm not. I can't say. But um, that's that's the pain of love, of understanding the value of that person. And yeah, it hurts because they're not there anymore, and you cannot express to them anything. If you're a praying person, you can always pray for them and that sort of thing. And recognize that when you're in heaven, you know, you can get to see him again. That'd be cool. So it's not over. It's not the last time. It's not the last time you get to see him. I think uh, depending on your religion, you know. Um, what you think there? But if you're of the same religion as me, then you can have that hope that you will see them again,
Mhm.
rather than just hope certainty. Um, so that's a beautiful thing, right? We all eventually have to pass, and it's not a bad thing, but it does hurt. It does hurt. So I really like what you've done here, though. I just want to really compliment you for a second here. Um, the fact that you noticed that the things that you like to do with your father, you no longer like to do. And I also really like that you are trying to change that.
Mm.
The fact that you're even bringing it before us today, that you're strong enough to type the topic out and put your feelings out there, show your, really make yourself vulnerable to everyone here in the hope of strength, of being strengthened, of finding the way out. That's amazing. And that shows a lot of strength. It shows that you have hope. So, how do you manage the negative feelings that push you away from the activities you enjoy? Well, you're taking the first step already. Because whether you enjoy something, a lot of times it's just a matter of perspective, right? And what better way to change your perspective than to acknowledge it, right? I remember going through a phase in my life. I was super hipster. I was hipster before hipster was a word that we used to define people that were against anything that was popular and for everything that was unpopular. Like that was me when I was in middle school and high school. Um, and it was recognizing that was wrong that allowed me to start liking other music, other activities, liking Pokemon. I liked Pokemon before Pokemon was known. Suddenly it got popular. I hated Pokemon, right? Dumb. So dumb, right? That's pretty dumb. But recognizing that that's dumb took me a really long time. But recognizing that allowed me to decide to do it anyways, so that I could get the chance of enjoying it. You're never going to get the chance to enjoy something if you don't do it. So, how do you manage the negative feelings that push you away from doing the activities that you enjoy? You do the activities that you enjoy so you can give yourself a second chance to fight away those negative feelings. And let me tell you, it's not always the first time you do it again that you're going to be like, oh, now I'm having fun doing it. It might take doing it several times. You might have to, like, whatever that activity is. Maybe it's, I don't know, Ash talked about playing guitar. He was playing the guitar. You might pick up the guitar and you're trying to play it, but it's really just not, you're not feeling it, right? But you play it. Play it for 10 minutes, put it down. Not all hope is lost. Come back to it again later. You play it, you're like, it's not there. You put it down. That's all right. Not all hope is lost. Come back the next day. Play the guitar again. And sometimes it's being allowing something to click and open up. You play the guitar, it's not coming to you. You play the guitar, a couple days go by, someone says something that makes you realize, oh, I'm not being passionate about it because my heart's not in it. So I'm not going to say, oh, my heart's not in it, so therefore I'm not going to play it. That'd be dumb. Rather, say, my heart's not in it. I need to put my heart into it. Play with everything I can muster as if I actually mean it. Right? I'm serious about doing this. Get serious about doing it. Right? So you have that activity that you enjoy or you used to, but now you can't enjoy it. It's because your mind's in a different place. Of course you're not going to enjoy it. You can barely focus on what you're doing. Get serious. Get serious about doing it. Right? Get serious about having fun. Get serious about your work. Get serious about whatever it is. Be there doing that thing. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense because it's really the best advice I got. It does take, and I don't mean to be insensitive, right, at all. Your father passing is a very sorrowful thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not trying to be insensitive in the idea that, hey, stop focusing on your father and just do this thing with actually be serious about it so you can enjoy it. I don't mean to say that. What I mean to say is you have to be serious about what you're doing or you're not going to enjoy it. Coming to terms with your father passing might be required before you can get serious. But maybe not. So why don't you give it a try? That's all I got. All you can do is try. Pick something up that you enjoy and give it a real try. Give it a serious try. And if it's not working for you, then it sounds like you've got to come to a close on your father, right? Before you can move on. And that's okay. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, maybe Joe has some more on that, but I'm gonna give it over to him. So you can talk about whatever you like, John. I wasn't trying to force you, but yeah, that's what I got for now. And I hope that's helpful. I hope that made sense to you. I recognize it's a little bit strange, but I find it to be true in my life. If I'm just all kinds of messed up over something that just happened, and I try to do something and I don't enjoy it, until I get serious about that activity, I just can't. But if I go, you know what, that is that, this is this, and I'm being serious about this, let's do it, then everything else kind of goes away and I can actually enjoy the activity. So yeah, that's the best I got for now. And maybe Joe has something a lot better than that, but I'm going to give it over to him.
I don't know if I have anything better, but I am going to say what I want to say, whether you prompt me or not.
Don't you dare. That would be too audacious.
Audaciousness is my middle name.
Joe Audaciousness?
Yes.
Anderson.
That's right.
I like it. Joe Audaciousness Anderson.
That's the one.
Thing to it. Okay.
Boom. I got to quote Painted Jaiberb again. Just know there isn't a timeline for grief. You can grieve for as long as you need, and don't think that you shouldn't be grieving because it's been a certain amount of time.
Mm.
Very, very true and wise words. It's been 2 months, and you still miss him like it was yesterday. I can totally understand that. There was something a little later in your topic, Baka, where you said, and lately I've just not been myself, and I'm starting to hate myself more and more. And I can definitely understand that feeling as well. When we're in the midst of trauma, when we're in the midst of some kind of emotional baggage that we're dealing with or anything like that, we can really start to get disappointed in ourselves. We start to feel like what is wrong with me? Like something is wrong with me here. And we can start to really, kind of not like who we are and, stuff like that. So one of the things that I would encourage you to do, listen to what the quote from the chat where, there's no timeline for grief. Everybody processes grief differently. Everybody handles it differently. And sometimes we ourselves will handle it differently depending on the relationship we had with that person. Now, this relationship was a very key relationship. I mean, this is your dad. You know, that's a key relationship for all of us. And, you know, even if we had a bad dad who abandoned us or whatever, that relationship is still a key one, and it can, and whatever happens there can affect, you know, how we process things, how we grow as individuals, all that kind of stuff, right? So I can understand the depth of trauma in this situation. And Baron, I saw your comment in the chat, and I knew about that, and I'm so sorry. And I wish you guys the best as you travel through your journey of grief in this, because this can hit you and just be traumatic. So while you're doing this, here's what I would recommend. This might be a little bit hard, but have some patience with yourself. Like Painted Jaybird said, understand there's no timeline here. You know, understand you're going to feel feelings that might not make any sense. Things are going to occur to you that might not make any sense. Because this is just going through the trauma of that experience. And so while you're going through this time, because it is a process of healing, believe it or not, as hard and as painful as it is, grief it's what we feel as we heal through this, from this experience. While you're traveling this road, suspend judgment on yourself. Don't judge yourself for things that you think or feel or whatever, because they're just going to come. And it's not who you are. You are separate from your feelings. Your feelings are experiences that you have. So when you're going through this time, it's going to be really easy as we're feeling this way to get down on ourselves, to really dislike ourselves, like think there's something wrong with us, all these kinds of things. It can totally consume us. But while we're in that state, we're not of sound judgment enough to judge ourselves. Because immediately, you know, especially if we're introverted people like me, I always just turn those daggers in at myself. Some people, like when they're feeling this kind of trauma, they lash out. Right? I always turn them inward. That's just, you know, I don't know if it's an introverted / extroverted thing or what, but you know, it hurts. But so understand a couple things. One, give yourself time. Understand it might take a long time. And like Ryan said, you may never be fully rid of a little bit of pain here. But as we've talked a lot about pain in this, you know, in this episode here, it deepens our love. It shows you the value of your dad to you. The pain you feel at his passing. It's evidence of how strongly your love was for him. And going through the pain will deepen your love, deepen your capacity for love for other people as well. So a lot of the talk that we've given, all these different topics, kind of intertwine a lot because we're dealing with pain. So my 2 points here, though, and I will repeat them again, and it is patience with yourself because yes, it hurts. And understand your timeline won't be the same as anybody else's. And it's okay. It's okay. And anytime you need some encouragement, keep coming back here. We'd be happy to encourage you. And number 2, suspend any judgment on yourself. Maybe don't make major decisions, especially regarding judgment on yourself. Because when we're in this state of dealing with trauma, man, I know sometimes I'm up and down and all over the place. Thinking, going off in one direction and another direction, and just like I can't focus. It can be so hard. So those are the 2 things: patience and suspend judgment. And this goes for you. This goes for everybody. You can DM me on Discord anytime.
Me as well.
I'm on there daily. If you want to talk about something, you want to get something off your chest, you want to got something on your mind, you can DM me. Princess yep, there it is. 6992. I should have that number memorized by now.
Mine's really easy to remember. 4545. Steady.
Yep. So anyway, Baka, I'm so sorry. My heart goes out to you. And don't be afraid to reach out. And then, yep, we're getting close to the end here, and it looks like there's a there's a really short one that won't be relevant next week. Ryan, did you have anything else for Baka?
I just wanted to second what you said. It's so important that, look, Baka, every time I'm with you, you're a wonderful person. I feel great. You always make me feel great about myself. Like, seriously, you're really great. And you're a wonderful person. Don't question that.
You're fun to play Minecraft with too.
Yeah, for sure. So if you're looking at yourself and you don't see that, it's okay to be wrong. But you're wrong. So just know that we love you for sure. But you're awesome. Like, you're fantastic. So Joe's right. Like, remember also that we're human beings. We are only capable of so much. Our brains are not designed to be all calculating, all knowing, all whatever, right? We can only handle so much. That's the way we're designed. There's nothing we can do about that. An insect has about this much. I'm not even, by the way, my fingers are completely closed. This much capacity for emotion and understanding and all of that. We have about this much, all right? So, so don't berate yourself. Don't be upset at yourself. Don't think that you're going too slow. Don't be worried that you're not enjoying activities. Don't be worried about that. Ultimately, you're getting through it very slowly, and that's the way you have to do it. You're a human being. You're going to get overloaded sometimes, and that's all right. What else can you do but be overloaded and then slowly process your way through it, one little piece at a time? That's normal. That's how we go through everything. So, yeah. Don't feel like you're not enough or something, because you're awesome. That's all.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan. And Baka, thank you so much. I will second everything that Ryan said. We love you. You're amazing to hang around, and I'm sorry that the Bedrock server has not been updated yet. So, Helmrock Hero, yeah, you wouldn't be able to get out anyway right now because everybody got an update, but a server needs to be manually updated, and there's been all kinds of stuff going on, so we haven't gotten to it. We're gonna make some headway on that, hopefully in the next couple of days. I will give you my personal pledge to make the appropriate phone calls.
Yes.
And maybe get the appropriate training so I can do it myself.
There you go.
Yes. But so
Yes, Princess said that we have a topic
Mhm.
that's short because we're over time now.
Yep.
But
that's all right.
it won't be valid next week or something.
Yes, because they'll probably make a purchase by then. So,
Yes. All right.
It is Meow's topic of laptop for music production. It honestly won't take long.
Oh, well, it's music. Yes, it will.
maybe. We'll see.
Look,
What
keep it
time
short.
is
You guys
it?
are capable of that. And
What?
if you
Yeah,
take too
right.
long,
Have you
then I will
been
let
on
you
this
know.
show with us before?
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
You
Sorry.
haven't seen me at my full force, and you don't want to either.
Oh
Snap.
boy.
Anyway, they've been working on a song for their friend's birthday, which is on August 11th. And in order to finish it, they have to have a laptop to combine the recordings of different parts. They plan to use this laptop to make songs after this one, among other things. They basically have a budget of $2,000 and are looking for a high quality computer that could run that sort of thing. And if you guys had any recommendations on what laptops they should get or what specifications they might need for music production in a laptop.
This is a great question. I'll tell you what, the laptop is only part of the equation. If you're going to do music production, your laptop, yes. Your laptop is going to be critical. You need a computer, right? You need a DAW, and there are free ones that you can use, and there are inexpensive ones. DAW is digital audio workstation. That's the software you're going to run on it. But other components that will be necessary: an interface, a microphone, and cables and stand and whatever, right?
Audio interface, by the way.
Audio interface, yes. Like Focusrite makes them. I use Focusrite stuff. Focus, Focusrite. Focusrite, and
There's all sorts of ones out there, though.
tons of them. Yep, absolutely. You can generally get a pretty good one for around $100. Microphone depends on how much you want to go. I would say a good mid-range is going to cost you a couple $100, and then a good pair of headphones. I would recommend either these Beyerdynamic DT770s or the DT990s, depending on what kind of recording you're going to be doing. Are you going to be recording vocals, or are you going to be recording with a microphone, or is it just going to be all electronic and stuff like that? But yes, equipment you will need besides the laptop: audio interface for sure, usually a microphone, and a decent set of headphones. And you can look at that being total of $400 to $600 of your equation, depending on the quality you want to go. If you want decent quality. So anyway, that's my take on that. As far as laptops go,
Perfect.
Ryan, I'm sending it to you.
Awesome. Yeah, listen to Joe's advice on that. If you want, you can send. It'd probably be better to send Joe a message if you have a Discord, or if not, then you can message people on the website. So you can set us a private message. But anyways, and we can get back to you with like a list or something.
Yeah.
It won't be extensive, but yeah. Anyhow, so yes, like Joe said, audio interface, headphones, and if you want a mic or something like that, you're gonna have to get that. But those are great recommendations, as Joe said. If you want I'm gonna tell you one key component to your laptop that you're gonna want: processing power. Don't look for a gaming laptop. Gaming laptops are great, but you don't need a high-end graphics card. That's what gaming laptops are. They're just high-end graphics cards, right? Shoved into a laptop, and the rest of it could be nothing. It could be like, literally, I've seen gaming laptops that are not good laptops, but they game great just because they have a graphics card that's strong.
They don't have a good processor?
No.
Really?
Because
that's interesting
games
to me.
are most of the processing in games is the graphics
Yeah,
now.
it's done by the GPU.
And so the GPU does all of the heavy loading,
Yeah.
and the processor barely has to do anything. So what you're going to want is a high-end processing laptop, because audio, it's you're getting all of this information and it's playing it live, and it requires a lot of processing power, especially depending on your plugins. If you're using a digital audio workspace with high-end MIDI stuff, that stuff, like, it can get crazy. The amount of processing the computer has to do, it's an insane amount of calculations to get the sound out and sounding correct. So processing power, that's the main thing you're going to be looking for. And that's really about it. That's it.
Yep. And don't skimp on the other components either.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Don't allow yourself, I would allow yourself like $500 to $600 for the components outside of the laptop.
Yep.
So
well said.
Yeah. So, and then, yeah, feel free. You want more detail, whatever, you can find us on the website. You can find us on Discord. Direct message us, man. Any of you guys got questions about stuff? Please.
Yeah.
Ask.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we would love to talk to you guys and get to know you guys personally. I've got some great friends that I've met from doing Don't Worry Wednesday and from hanging out in Discord and from hanging out and
yeah, jeez.
I mean, you guys are awesome. So, anyway, hopefully that's helpful for you, Meow. But yeah, brand probably doesn't matter too much. You know, like Ryan was talking about, you know, the main thing you're looking at, what's your processor?
Yeah.
And the laptop.
For your laptop. Yeah. For audio interface, your audio interface is going to be your sound card.
Right.
So
yeah, that's built into the
important
audio interface.
Which is a little extra on top of the. It's interesting the way computers work. I won't explain it. Never mind. But those are what you need. Yep.
I'm working on putting a package together of the peripherals for a friend right now and just kind of like figuring out, okay, what's a good kind of entry level? You don't want super entry level, but you want something
Mid-tier,
decent, right? But you don't want to break the bank, right?
Yeah, you want, I'm committed, but I'm not rich.
Right, exactly. And it came to about $600. It was the Focusrite 2i2. It was a 2-channel interface. And it's USB 2.0, so you don't need 3.0, right? And then you have the laptop. The DT770s, because they're going to be recording vocals, and these are closed back headphones, so you're not going to get bleed through coming into your microphone. And then the microphone I found was the Rode NT1.
I've heard of that one before.
Lowest self noise of any condenser microphone. Like the electronics noise that goes on inside the microphone. Yep. And there's the NT1 and there's the NT1A, and I liked the frequency response for the NT1 better for this particular person than the NT1A, knowing kind of their style and their voice a little bit. But anyway, it was going to be like $600. And so I figured, hey, this would be good. Like what Ryan was saying, I'm committed, but I don't want to like shell out a fortune, because you can shell out some money.
You can shell out a crazy amount of money on something you'll use once.
Yeah.
It's nuts in the music industry.
That's right. So you want something specific, Meow? Specifically, direct messages. And we'd be happy to help you. Ryan especially. And then me even more.
That was brilliantly put. I love it, Joe. You're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. So, yeah. Let us know, Meow. Let us know what you come up with, too.
That's what we got.
Yeah, anyway. It's awesome. But, all right, well, we are over time, and I'm glad to be over time. I'm glad we handled that, because that's one of the fun. I love talking about that stuff, man. I will bore people to death talking about music equipment.
Yeah, I mean it's endless.
Yep, it's fun. But anyway, you guys are amazing. Thank you. The chat has been so wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, Ash, you're very welcome. Thank you for being here, and thanks for your topics. You know, we couldn't do this show without you guys. You know, and you guys coming and being here, it's so showing your support for us, showing your support for everybody else in the chat. You guys are so awesome, and we love you. And we'll see you next week. Princess, you got any closing remarks?
I love you guys.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Yes.
See you next Wednesday.
See you guys
Yes.
awesome.
See you guys
Bye.
awesome.
See you guys awesome.
See you guys awesome.
See ya, you guys awesome.
See you guys awesome. Bye.
Bye.
Peace.